Hi, today I want to talk to you about something that is very important in chess. This thing I speak about is very important. In fact, it's just like the game of chess. Now, what am I talking about? Well, I'll get to the point soon in time, and that might be a wee clue. But important in chess, very, very important in chess, is the following. Okay, watch this. Okay, here is my timepiece, my chess clock. Time. Now, when I started playing chess a long, long time ago, yes, a long, long time ago, I realized that when I went to the Alkynes Chess Club, that there were such things there as clocks. Now, to orientate myself properly with the chess clock, I had to do some juggling. I had to juggle the chess clock with the chess position. And sometimes I couldn't connect them very well. In fact, the way I won my first games of chess at the Alkynes Chess Club is on time, because my position was, let me say, not the best. And so what I would do is I would play for time. And especially in lightning games, that could be successful if I was able to hang on long enough to have my opponent lose on time. In the case of especially if they take a wee while to make the moves. But I'm actually talking about something else. So you thought that was the subject, didn't you? It is about time that I speak about what I'm actually speaking about in this subject. The subject I'm speaking about is like unto that. Time is tempo. Tempo in chess. Now, I learnt the word tempo, I think, when I was a young boy. Before I went to the Alkynes Chess Club, I was learning tempo in music, where I was learning to play the violin. Yes, that's right. And I would play the violin. I think I got to about a level grade 5 or 4 or something like that. And I loved the violin, but other things took over. And in that was important that one has to be keeping in time with the actual, the other musicians there like me and another musician, although I'm not a grandmaster and I'm not a musician. The reason why I'm not a grandmaster is one of these reasons is because I'm still learning about these sorts of things in chess, which is time. There is a time, as the Bible says, there's a time and place for everything. Even the song, a time to win and a time to lose, a time to sleep and reap and sow and all these sorts of things. Okay, and that's like that in chess. There's a time to attack. There's a time to open up. If we don't open up, then we don't get our pieces out. And our opponent might be already waiting for us when we're still in our sleeping bag in our tent, is one of the illustrations I make when I'm coaching chess. Is in the opening, we need to get our pieces out. We need to, what's called developing. We need to have some central influence. We need to think about our king's safety. We do not want to go grabbing pawns with our queen, as an example, or any other piece for that matter. But the problem with chess is that it has a sort of an ingredient of sort of like, for me, probably materialistic greed, of wanting to just go, oh, hang on, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, that I'm going to snap that pawn up. And I'm just thinking of a time where I did that in a rapid game in Tauranga, I think. And here I was playing this opponent from the Philippines, and I didn't know who my opponent was, but my opponent was no rating at all. So I was black, and I went, oh, a pawn. I'll grab that with my bishop. And 2 moves later, here came Queen A4 check and picked up my loose bishop on B4 for nothing in the French. So it wasn't the right time for me to grab that pawn with my bishop. It might have been something I could prepare, but it wasn't something at that time for me to take that pawn with my bishop. Now, if you can imagine, which is very good for you, by the way, for your chess, for you to go along with me on this little bit of mind analysis. I will give you an example of a great player, Alexander Alekhine, who knew quite a bit about this importance of time. In fact, other things as well he knew about in chess, which he was the greatest tactician, one of the greatest tacticians, in my opinion, ever for the game of chess. As Frank James Marshall is known for one of the best swindlers and also one of the best chess players ever to be on the planet, not even to get the award of World Championship. But he was just great at swindling, and Alekhine is very good because he had very, very good principles. He was fighting players like Aaron Nimzovich and beating them. He had a plus score, I think. From memory, I think he's got a plus score against Aaron Nimzovich, who is a great strategist and talks about things like, and I'm going a wee bit off topic, but I'm trying to say that I'm speaking about Alekhine, and I'll just get back to the subject of what I'm saying. He would have his blinkers on, like horse blinkers or whatever they're called. I don't know. Not very good in English. And he would have his blinkers on when people were attacking him on the king's side or the queen's side. He was just concentrating on the centre. He was not, and making moves in the centre even when he was getting ferociously attacked. But anyway, about Alkyne, he's got an opening called the Alkynes Defense. And if we just analyse that in our head, I'm sure you can, or you can get a chessboard if you so wish. E4, knight f6, e5, knight d5, c4, knight b6, d4, okay? Now, black's only moved one thing, a knight, whereas white's moved 3 things, has actually made 4 moves. And the knight has only made 3 moves, but it's the only thing that's moved out from black, whereas white's moved pawn moves 4 times. He's gone e4, e5, d4, and c4, so that's 4 moves. Whereas black's just played a knight, boom, 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 or boom, 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 boom. And the knight, now it's black's move, and black plays now d6. Now notice what happens now. We have a capture. Generally speaking, there are other moves like f4 for white here, but that will be going into maybe Alekhine's idea of white over influencing themselves in the centre, which is very easy for junior players or first time players to play and think, wow, look at these pawns. f4, e5, d4, c4. Well, I want to have pawns in the center, but guess what? So here we've got the times coming up, okay? We've got d6. So we've got e4, 96, e5, 95, c4, 96, d4, d6. Now watch what happens next. After d6, we've got ed6. Now that pawn, if it was in real life terms, has moved a lot of times. It's been the main SAS pawn for white so far. But guess what's going to happen? After ed6, it's going to what? It's going to be disappearing off the chessboard. It's gone off the chessboard. Now after cd6 or ed6, not queen d6 because of c5, and I know you can see that, and c5 isn't exactly winning the knight on b6 because black then has queen e6 check. So can get away with it, could play it, but I would suggest that one plays cd6. I think that's better than ed6 for black. Now notice now that there's a knight on b6 and a pawn on d6, and there is what has white got? A pawn on d4 and a pawn on c4. And so what's happened is it looks like, to the naked eye, if anyone comes along and goes, oh, it's white's move, because not because they know the opening and all that sort of stuff, but because it looks like it's white's next move, because both players have moved two things on the chessboard, even though the chess detectives out there can determine otherwise or can ascertain otherwise. So that being said, the pawn's disappeared. So that pawn that's invested all that time going up to e5 to d6 has taken, 4 moves. 1, 2, 3. I was actually analysing it from e2 to e3, e4, e5, d6. And it's gone off the board. It's disappeared. So that's what I want to talk to you about, because when we take a pawn, when I take a pawn, I think, oh, wow, that looks good. I'm going to take that pawn. I'm going to go after that pawn with my knight. Oh, I can win a pawn. And meanwhile, my opponent might be developing and getting out of their tent. And so I want to just finish on time here because I'm coming up to 30 minutes. I want to, or a bit more, whatever, I'm not sure. I want to finish this on time, this video, so that you don't look at the video time and think that is too much of my time. Okay? So all the best. Watch tempo and chess.